So John's got his girlfriend coming to visit.
Oh, sorry, ladies.
That's your topic?
Sorry, ladies.
That's not my topic. That's not the one, but it's something I would like to talk about. John goes,
She's going to watch this.
Well, I'm going to try hard, everybody. We're going to talk about John's girlfriend real quick. Okay, so check
I'm
it
sorry,
out.
what's...
Just don't say her last name.
I won't say her last
Oh,
name.
you didn't even say her first name. It's okay.
Her name
is Beatrice Badunkadunk.
Her name is Gertrude. Gertrude is Fush.
Yeah?
She's actually Scandinavian hybrid with German.
Chase?
Olga Olenbush.
Okay.
Olga Olenbush. That's a pretty
And
good
John?
Her name is Lauren. I'm not gonna say her last name, but
Oh, wow.
Lauren Linkleberry.
yeah, Lauren Linkleberry.
Lauren McSchnoodle.
Hello, Lauren. By the way,
All right, so guys, welcome to Try Hard number 73. I believe it is. Parker, can you stop making so much fucking noise over there?
Shut up!
God.
Shut the hell up over there.
God.
fucking
God.
dog.
It's ridiculous.
Jesus, he's like a dumb blind dog.
Fucking animal.
I like that you have a dumb blind dog.
I
dude. That's
do. He's
Oh.
he's so sad. He's so sad. The other day he goes he goes like there's a big problem with Bruce because the refrigerator is the biggest liability because like it's just like at this point it's like you just open it and then you know I'm trained to apologize to him at this point and I'll look down and the fridge will just go and he'll just be like
What was that?
it's like what hit me?
That's so sad.
I know.
This episode of the Try Hard Podcast is brought to you by you, our patrons.
The bowling shirt. That's what it's brought to you by. Let's go. In your face, Craig. I am outselling you, and we haven't even started the official campaign yet.
That's right.
Look at
It's
that.
also brought to you by Craig's shirt.
Woo!
Which I am not outselling bowling in, but that's okay.
Not yet.
You can pick it up over there at the store. You can find a link to it in the description. We encourage you guys. It's a great way to support us if you're not already a patron. Just
Yes.
letting you know that. Patrons
Craig.
A bunch of classless
on.
delinquents.
Come back.
To me?
What are you doing?
Yep. What are you doing, Chase?
What's wrong?
Look at OBS.
Oh, well, I didn't do that.
What is that?
There's a picture of
I didn't do that.
What? Hey, Craig. Hey. No, put it back up. Put it
didn't
back
do
up.
that.
Put it back up. Fuck you, you little bitch. No, fuck you. I got the middle fingers right there. Yes. Oh.
That's quality entertainment right there.
That's right. That's
We're
what we do.
almost as good as RT Broadcasts when it comes to the tech.
Man, when we went down there, we did that podcast with them. That was like the highlight of their life.
I know that was
Because it was
great.
like, let's just do Star Wipes.
Yeah.
Let's just do shit. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that podcast?
I
we
don't
did
think
with
so.
Bernie?
No, I'll have to check it out.
We did a podcast with Bernie, and we did like the first 45 minutes
yeah.
with Bernie,
Uh-huh.
and then it was just like we just sat there and we just played games with all their tools. It was
Yeah. Oh,
awesome.
nice.
It
Yeah, I was
it
like,
was
make
fun.
it look like Craig stretching my butt, and I bent over and I like stretched my ass out, and they did like a circle, like of Craig going like, no.
Was it
and I
a
was like,
Try Hard episode?
It was a tryhard episode.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
number? Do you remember?
Like
it's
12.
It's called a Tale of Two Podcasts.
I'll go
It's
check
got
it out.
Bernie in the thumbnail.
Yeah,
It's
it was-
pretty
it was
funny.
like
Go
our
check
most-
it out too.
It's like our most viewed podcast ever. Yeah,
to know.
because it had Bernie in the thumbnail.
Of course.
I think there's a stark decline after Bernie stopped. It was just like, well,
You set the bar too high too soon.
It was
Yeah.
rough. So I have several topics to talk about.
We're
this
not done
week.
talking about John's girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, but
Like
yeah,
John was like, well, I could see John was like, this is the home stretch. We're gonna make it out of this alive.
Yeah.
But no, his girlfriend's coming. Chelsea and I are going on a double date with John.
What is? What,
Telling
what-
him, I was stealing his arm real estate for a second. I
Okay.
realized what I did. So.
We're going on a double date
Uh-huh.
this Saturday. It's gonna be a great time. I hope. And
It's gonna be a great time.
And I'm gonna be like, look, fuck with me, fuck with the best girl. That's what I'm gonna say to your girlfriend. That's the first thing.
She's very nervous about this Sean test.
What's a Sean test?
You joked that there was going to be a Sean test.
Yeah, there's gonna be a Sean test, written and oral
Yeah.
exams right there. She's
I'm
gonna
sorry.
have to,
Oral exams?
No, not like that, you
Whoa,
jackass.
that's really fucked up, dude.
No, no. She has to have great teeth. That's what I'm saying.
She has great teeth.
What if just John is like, oh. And he is like, well, fuck.
She doesn't have good
No,
teeth.
she's beautiful. No, I'm not going to tell her that we talked about this on this episode
Why not? She's
because
gonna
then
watch
she
it.
can watch it after the double date.
Okay,
and
so
not
why
feel
is she nervous?
because she doesn't want to like fail the Sean test.
I don't know what the Sean test is, but I like it.
You're just talking about right now.
Yeah. It's just a made-up thing that's happening.
Well, now you have to show up on the date with the written exam, so
I'm not putting in all that extra work just to test your girlfriend on how good of a person she is.
Oh yeah, by the way, Chase is joining us this week. Hey Chase.
Hey
Oh,
guys.
hey there.
There he is.
Yay, Chase!
Look at that
I
mouth.
want to see comments. If you like Chase, I just want to see "Yay, Chase" in the comments of this
that's it.
video. So, yay, Chase!
It could just be one person that says "Yay, Chase" and that thumbed up a million times.
That's fine. I like
that
that
was
person.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yes, so
So she's coming, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're cleaning your house, and now you're fixing your car. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. I love it. That's how much you care. That's how much you care, my friend.
doing some
Yeah,
manscaping.
That is beautiful. No, manscaping.
Don't make the conversation awkward.
I don't know what is awkward about that.
No, that's like a pubic thing, Craig. He's no.
I don't like. It's just like it's like taking care of your body. There's nothing awkward about that.
Yeah, like shaving your chest hair and stuff like that.
Well, no, it's,
No,
it's like, dude, if you're gonna shave your chest into a heart with an arrow pointing down, like that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But like I'm just saying, like clean yourself up a little bit. You know, like you're a good-looking guy, right?
Yeah.
But like everybody sees, nobody sees with the clothes off. So you know, it's one of those
I like
things
my
where.
chest hair.
What's that?
You like your chest hair?
Well, no, I'm not saying that you shouldn't like your chest
Yeah,
hair,
yeah.
but I'm just saying like
I know what you're saying. I just don't want to get into
Like
detail.
every time sometimes it's just good to kind of clean up a little bit.
You got hobbit
I'm-
feet
I'm
though,
all on
right?
board on that, yeah.
What are you gonna use to shave off those hairy feet of yours? You got the hobbit feet.
I'm not gonna shave my feet.
Why not?
My feet are fine.
What about all the dead callous skin that lets you walk through the fires of Mordor barefooted?
You know,
Did you have you seen? You haven't seen Lord of the Rings, right? And Lord of the Rings, the hobbits are a species that don't wear shoes because they have these giant feet that are really padded, like a bear's paw on the
Yeah,
underside.
yeah.
That's what kind of feet John has. He keeps
don't
it.
Can we see?
They just have some
Can we
hair on
see?
the top
Can
of
we see the? Can we see your
I want
foot?
to take my shoe off.
No, he doesn't really have hairy
Right.
feet. I'm just joking.
Okay.
But I can tell you're pretty excited. You're pretty excited about
I am
this
very
thing.
excited.
You even took your car to the shop.
How long
There
have you been
go.
dating this girl?
We've been.
Because you met her when we went out there, right?
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
I met her at the Game Attack meetup in Orlando.
So we bringing people together. What's up?
What's up? Oh, we get to tag team officiate.
Oh yeah.
Her friend was actually the one like, okay, this guy's into you. Keep talking to him, and then like, all right, you're gonna message him afterwards. So like, because she was like, no, he's just being nice, but her friend was correct. I was into her. Her friend was like, no, you have to message him on Instagram afterwards.
My favorite part is John looked so unlike regular John at Disney, and she still thought he was a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Imagine that.
I mean, he looks great, but like you had on like your Hawaiian shirt and like shorts that you don't really wear shorts. Like you
But
usually
isn't
look
that
like
a
this.
bad thing?
Yeah,
That he
well,
doesn't
no.
look like regular John, and she's into him when he doesn't look like regular
No,
John.
That's just how she
no.
met me. She obviously had seen other pictures afterwards, and I mean, she had, the first time she ever saw me was on the spot when I went on with Chad.
You were all suited and stuff.
Yeah, so you know,
Yeah.
she's seen me in a variety of outfits.
Okay.
So
So this is going to be like a double date, and you guys are going out. And what's the plan? What are you guys going to
just
do?
gonna go to El Forno's.
Why are you telling them where we're gonna be? Now everyone's gonna be there.
Listen,
what day's your date
all
on?
the G1s would certainly not to go to Al Forno's on Saturday night.
Yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
It's better to say we're gonna go eat some Italian food
okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not used to just randomly being
in the
presented
city
with
of
the fact that
Flower
I'm
Mound at Al
gonna-
Forno's on Friday night.
John, it's okay to talk about your girlfriend on a podcast.
Yeah, you didn't prep me at all with this.
No, I didn't know. I didn't realize it was gonna be a conversation until I got here, and I was like, "Why is John fixing his car
Oh my
and
God.
cleaning so
Anyways,
much?" And I was like,
yes, we're going on a double date. We're gonna have dinner and just hang out. So
"It'll be
And
lovely."
not all
Are you gonna
Fornos.
drill her pretty hard? Are you gonna like get in and like really ask her a lot of questions?
Yeah,
like try to figure out what's going on.
What are your thoughts on all these political issues and all that stuff? Like, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna ask her a lot of questions, and then whatever she answers, I'm gonna not like the answer,
Just be like, no,
Don't
no.
do that.
just to see how she can handle it.
no, please don't do that.
Listen, John, she has to learn how to handle adversity. All right. If
Mm-hmm.
one day, I'm just telling you this right now. One day, you're going to ninja kick some woman's heart so hard that she's going to fall for you. And I hope that it's this Lauren woman.
That's how John gets women to
but-
fall in love with him. He kicks them in the heart.
No. That's a metaphor, Bull.
Love foot.
He then resuscitates them, and then they fall in love.
So I just hope that she can deal with the adversity of the wonderful-looking man that you are. I mean, you look great, and it's tough, especially with your LASIK. God, your eyes are beautiful.
I know.
Thank you.
I've been thinking about LASIK. I got contacts on right now, and like it is just like, why do I have to feel this? Why is this agony?
Well-
but yes, John, look, I have high expectations for anyone that thinks they're good enough for you. Okay, that is what's happening here, and that's what we're gonna find out.
I'm just gonna throw this out there.
What's up?
What if, in the middle of the date, she just like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough for John.
Oh no, I don't want that to happen.
And it's your fault.
I know.
It's nothing that John did, but
Okay.
you scared her away. What if that happens? Even though your friendship will be broken forever, will you still come on next week and explain to him, and you guys have a heart to heart about why
No,
that
I would
happened?
never do that. What if next week John's like, look, Lauren thinks she's not good enough for him anymore, and you drove her away, and then you kick me in the heart.
I feel like this is a rite of passage for any relationship.
What's
is,
that?
Is
The best
meeting,
friend?
Is meeting the
Of
best
course,
friend.
yeah.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
I personally feel like meeting the best friend is almost, if not more important than meeting the parents.
I mean,
Depends on your relationship with the parents.
Yeah, well, the parents have a different relationship with the datee than the best friend will.
Of course.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's there's how your parents perceive you and how special, and then there's how your best friend perceives you.
well, you're right, because at the end of the day, they are probably going to see the best friend more than they will see the parents.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
yeah. Well, that's it. Well, good luck.
I'm sure.
Good,
you
good
will
luck
like
to
it.
you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. She's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
you guys,
she's awesome.
you're gonna have such a great time.
It'll be fun.
Well, so what else do you want to talk about?
No, I want to talk about whatever Chase wants to talk about. What's up? How you doing?
Oh, Chase, what do you want to talk
Hi.
about?
I don't know.
No, listen, Chase. We know that before the show, you're like, "Don't cut me off. I have so much to say this week. It's ridiculous."
Yeah.
So the floor is yours, Chase.
Well, I can say some things about you right now. So
Oh, what's that?
Go ahead and say some stuff about Craig.
Let it be known. No, but seriously, I'll take it from here.
Okay, go for it.
No. So I saw a headline today which drove me crazy.
Uh-oh.
Right? This is something that I was talking about this. I'm very passionate about journalism as a whole, right? And people say, there's journalism is in a state of shit right now, blah blah blah. And if you really think about, and this is just me. We talked about like the common man thing last week. This is not common man at all.
Okay.
Right? This is me with a degree in journalism who I don't like to read, I don't like to write, but I get what journalism is about. Okay. So, the news business as a whole has always been about putting as many eyeballs on your product as possible.
Of course.
Okay. It's just like the internet. It's just like whatever, like catchy titles, catchy thumbnails. That's what a headline writer used to do, right? That's how they sold papers.
So they
And
sell magazines.
magazines, paper, yeah, exactly, right? And that's just been the way of life forever. Before YouTube, before BuzzFeed revolutionized, there's 10 childhood stars who've been to jail. You won't believe number 6,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Papers were doing that 100 years ago,
Yeah.
right? But with the world being so bam, 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 it's gotten even more competitive with that, which is why BuzzFeed does what it does, right? Because there's so many more outlets. So today I logged on to ESPN.com, one of my kind of go-to source for sports news today.
Is that in your regular rotunda of like your?
Yeah. I really only go to like 2 sports websites. I go to ESPN and I go to Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report I see is kind of like the highlight factory, right? They're more built towards the younger, fast-paced 15-second clip here. Here's an Instagram post. This guy dunked awesome. type of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas ESPN's the more journalistic side.
Okay.
Right. I just want to make sure. Okay. So I want to read this to you really quick.
Are we recording?
We are recording.
Yes.
I want to read this to you real quick. And this is going to go back to a conversation that we had actually on Try Hard a while back.
Okay.
And tell me this doesn't change your perception about somebody.
Okay.
Mavs owner Mark Cuban denies 2011 sexual assault allegation. That's the headline. Okay? So immediately you go, oh, Mark Cuban's done something really shitty, right? But he's denying it. Okay? This is the headline of the article posted this morning on ESPN.com, seen by millions of people. I'm going to read you the entire article, and then you tell me if this article should have been posted or not.
Okay.
Dallas Mavericks owner, by the way, this has nothing to do with me being a Dallas Mavericks fan.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with. This has everything to do with just the way this is written.
Yeah.
Okay. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban is denying a 2011 allegation of sexual assault after a weekly alternative newspaper in Oregon published details of a case that prosecutors didn't pursue, saying they didn't believe there was evidence to support the claim. The report of a Willamette Week. The report of the Willamette Week in Portland, Oregon, came 2 weeks after a Sports Illustrated account that portrayed a hostile work environment for women in the Mavericks front office. The woman said Cuban reached in her pants while they were taking a picture in a Portland nightclub. In an email to the Associated Press on Tuesday, Cuban wrote, "It didn't happen." In a report explaining why they weren't pursuing the case, prosecutors wrote that, quote, "There is no evidence to corroborate the complaint compliance statement, and there is no evidence contradicting the claim." The report also said the woman didn't want to proceed with the allegation. The SI report included claims of inappropriate conduct by former CEO Tradema Ussery and raised questions about what Cuban knew and when. That's the entire thing. Okay? So I read that, and I was going to go off on Twitter about this, because the most important thing in this article, in this headline, is the prosecutors wrote there is no evidence to support this happened, right, at all, and there's evidence contradicting that it even happened.
Yeah.
The only evidence there is that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. But ESPN posted this article saying Mavs owner Mark Cuban denies 2011 sexual assault allegation.
Why is something from 7 years ago happening right now, and why did it come back up again?
It's all about the clicks.
Well, number one, you're right. Number two, it happened because 2 weeks ago, as written in the article, there was an article about the former CEO of the Mavericks. I guess was kind of a shit face guy, and there was a lot of issues with demeaning women, or shut up and do your job and blah 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 blah. And that came out.
It was not Mark Cuban.
It was not Mark Cuban. It was the CEO he hired, who was fired 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And it came out 2 weeks ago that this happened. Well, Mark Cuban came out and was like, "That shit ain't cool. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna fly." And since then, he's hired a consulting firm to do an in-house research on it. He's like, "I didn't know about this. I'm gonna make this right."
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like the time is right for, if anyone's going to make an allegation, now's the time to do it, regardless of when it was, right? So it goes back to the original idea of, like, number one, that's really fucking shitty journalism, right? Because there's no proof that it happened. There's actually proof that it didn't happen, right? And but ESPN still felt the need to put it out there because that's what's hot right now, right? And the comments on this are like, the big thing for me, and I agree with the comments, are like, why would you even put this out there with the idea of possibly damaging this man?
Yeah.
Who there's proof that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of a few thousand clicks. Like, that to me is the ultimate shithole business move in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like I said, it goes back to a conversation that we had back with
how damning just an allegation can be.
Yeah. Just the idea of, like, this person allegedly did this, and how you immediately change. Like, if I was to go, Tom Cruise is alleged sexual assault in 2003. Right? You immediately go, "Oh, Tom Cruise is kind of a scumbag. We knew he was crazy, but he's kind of a scumbag."
Yeah.
But it's just an allegation.
Yeah.
You don't know if it actually did it. Like, and that to me is really fucked up about today.
It's I think what we were talking about, I think something we said was, like, anybody looks like a creep with that kind of headline above or below any kind of caption picture.
Yeah.
You know, anybody can be, "Oh, I kind of had a feeling about him." Like, that, just the headline itself changes everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, that's the kind of thing that, NBC is like, "Okay, you're not on Shark Tank anymore because of this allegation." Like,
it could ruin. Like, how many businesses does Mark Cuban run?
all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and he generates so much money, not just for Dallas, but just, as a company, he is as an entity. Mark Cuban is making so much money, and a simple headline like that can fuck up all those businesses.
On ESPN.
On ESPN, yeah, exactly. I just think that's so irresponsible.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, when is that going to stop? I don't think it's ever going to stop, though, especially in today's climate. I just think it's so fucking wrong.
It's weird, though. Like, it's such a hard argument to have because, you definitely don't want to silence, like, anybody who's trying to speak out, but just, headlines like that disenfranchise. Like, not only does it disenfranchise Mark Cuban, it makes everyone else have to hesitate to think about the reality of an allegation.
Well, no, you're right, and you're
Yeah.
right. You certainly don't want to stop anybody from speaking out.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what we want.
I mean, like, obviously, like stuff like the Weinstein stuff has those victims or those survivors have done a great job of like rising up and like bringing back that to the forefront. But at the same time, when you see a headline like that, and and you're definitely not alone. I think that's pretty fucking shitty myself, and I'm sure there's a huge group of guys that are the same way, and women too. But yeah, like an article like that disenfranchises potential people that would speak up.
And it ruins the credibility of the outlet.
Yeah.
Like ESPN already has this reputation of like of the spin, right? When you think of Fox News or you think of CNN, right? That like there's a thought that Fox News is extremely right, CNN is an extremely left.
Yeah.
But ESPN has its own reputation as well, right? Because everyone's always pushing
Politically, or like how it styles
politically,
its
absolutely,
headlines.
politically, absolutely, yeah. And with their programming and such, and it's very much it's very much seen as left leaning, right? Left is not conservative. Left is liberal. Yeah, it's seen as very liberal, right? That's I don't know. These are just words I hear, but these it's fascinating to me that's been up for several hours today. I mean, that's been up for 6 hours today, and that ESPN hasn't like said, okay, this is really shitty journalism, right? Like, I'm sorry that we're sorry that we put this up because there's clearly evidence that this didn't happen. Like, the only evidence here is that it didn't happen.
And it's in the article.
Yeah, it's in the article itself.
Well,
and it's so clickbaity.
Do you think Mark Cuban said anything about it?
Well, Mark Cuban just simply said it didn't happen. He responded to AP just going, it didn't happen, And like, I've emailed Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban will email you back, which is crazy. Like, Mark Cuban is so busy. He put his email out there. He will email you back. I've emailed him. He responds with 1 or 2 word answers. Like, hey, Mark Cuban, what do you think of this? Blah blah blah. Or hey, whatever. He'll respond. And I think that's pretty amazing. But I don't know.
But it's the seed of doubt that makes it dangerous. Like,
yeah,
because now there's even if it's like a 5% part of me that's like, Mark Cuban might have done that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even though there's no evidence that like they didn't want to pursue it. Like I can understand the idea of like they didn't want to pursue it because she was scared. I understand that, right? Like the intimidation factor of that.
Yeah, maybe
like,
like it could be true. You know, it's like it's not like his fingernail shavings are gonna fall off into her pants or something.
Well, you say that though. You say like, well, it could be true, right? But the thing is, there's zero evidence that it is true.
I know.
But just from the headline, you go, well, it could be true.
Yeah.
And that's what's fucked up about this whole thing. And it drives me, like, it gets me so passionate about it because, like, when I went to school, there's a saying in newspapers, and it's across the board with anything that moves, anything, papers, magazines, whatever. If it bleeds, it leads, right?
Yeah.
And you see that with the evening news as well. There's a reason why there's those news stations that deliver just super happy news all the time.
Yeah.
Because people don't.
It's like a 1-to-6 ratio as far as headlines and articles and
because people don't
stories
care.
go.
Yeah, people don't care, and like that's the saddest thing about it is. We live in this shitty world where everything is just all doom and gloom all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like it's going to keep perpetuating that with headlines like this, and that's the thing that just drives me crazy. Is like, and there's going to be zero repercussion. That writer should be fired. He should be fired, or they should be right. She should be whoever. Like it just I'm sorry. It drives me crazy. I'm obviously super passionate about it. And like
It's like where does slander
start?
Yeah, where does slander
exactly,
start?
Yeah. Like, can you imagine what would happen if somebody came out and was like, Sean Boland denies sexual assault in 2009.
Yeah.
While working at Saltgrass Steakhouse, right?
Yeah,
And
like a fellow server or
yes, and some server was like, this guy was like, hey, he reached in my pants, and there's video proof or there's some sort of proof that says no, he didn't do it. But the headline says Game Attack Sean Boland denies sexual assault allegation.
Do you want the real answer? There's absolutely nothing I could do about it.
You're
It would
right.
Just be like, I mean, no.
Yeah,
But-
like it'd be one thing if the headline was like, no evidence for sexual allegation, but it's still, raises
yeah,
that
but-
question of, oh, what if? But yeah, it's misleading because the article does say there's no evidence. There's proof that there's no evidence. Yeah, we're still going to lead you to think that there is.
And you're right. If the headline said there's no evidence in assault, sexual
Yeah.
assault,
I
like
wou-
that's one thing.
I wouldn't think worse of him at all.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah,
it'd be like,
I don't-
oh, here's a scandal I'm going to read about.
Yeah, but
as opposed
denies
to,
allegation sounds way worse.
What's going on with Mark Cuban?
Exactly,
What the hell
yeah.
do you do?
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's
So
like
He
I-
denies something he may or may not have done. That's the thing. In the headline, Mark Cuban, as their subject, is denying something that may or may not have happened.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no
sometimes,
evidence this
especially in this
happened.
culture, like so many people will just start sharing articles just based on the headline.
Yeah, I've said this. You've said this. Where it's like, I read the headline. I saw this headline. I didn't really read the article though. You know, just like,
yeah, absolutely. It just drives me crazy. I'm sorry for going off on a tangent on it,
No, you're
but
fine.
it's just one of those things that I'm so passionate about. And you think about someone who's of that. We talked about celebrity status a few weeks ago about how there's they can afford protection. After like the Gavin Free thing, right? And it's like, yeah, but if somebody came out and said that, like, you can't. There's no protection against that.
yeah,
There's no protection against shitty journalism.
Against public opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably the biggest thing as well. Is it's just like it plants the seed, and it drives me crazy because like, dude, that can fracture a family. Dude's got a wife, a couple kids,
Yeah.
like all the business, like that'll ruin a life.
yeah. You put the seed of doubt in your wife's head too, or I mean,
Yeah.
if it happens to a woman too, it's like, what? Like the husband's like, what? What's this?
Yeah,
It makes you paranoid. It's pretty horrible.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
At this point, I'd read a sponsor read, but we don't have any this week except for you. So I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by this fine T-shirt right here. It's available right now on our store. The link is in the description. It is wonderful. And also by
This
our
one.
wonderful patrons, which you can watch Try Harder immediately after this episode by becoming a patron. And you get access to all the upcoming Foreplay episodes we have shot with Chad and Sam. Oh, baby. And I'm sorry, Bolin, what is that? It's also what? What's that, Bolin? It's sponsored by that shirt too? Oh, that's right. It is sponsored by his nipples.
Are you okay, John?
Yeah, I'm just looking at you.
Yeah.
John, what do you have going on?
Well, Craig, you wanted to talk about my workouts.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was intrigued by so
John posted a before after pic.
Yeah.
Did we?
He did on Instagram.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Is it massive?
It's not. I mean, I don't see it as massive, but it is a progress pic for sure. Figured I'd post one.
Well,
You're
the reason,
definitely larger.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that intrigued me about this was that like so a lot of people know that John is vegan. Bolin is like very vegan.
Yeah.
Right, kind of like vegetarian vegan.
Yeah.
And
slide to the after.
oh yeah, dude, you kidding me? Yeah, massive difference.
No.
Come on. Yeah, you put on 17 pounds, right?
Yeah. 17, 20 roughly.
So you, yeah, and I wish I could show that, but go to John's Instagram, everybody.
John FM Films.
Okay, and you can see him yourself. So, but a lot of people know like the general thought as a red-blooded American is that you got to eat meat to get big.
Yeah.
You got to have like and chicken and steak and shrimp.
Or a lot of protein shake powder stuff, or a lot of supplements.
Supplements,
Yeah.
and you got it. That's the way. That's the fast way to get big. When
Yeah.
you're working out.
What really confused me is the shift that happened culturally, where like when you're a kid, it's eat your vegetables, eat all the vegetables on your plate if you want to be healthy and strong, and then like now it's just like you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like
What do you mean by that?
Like, when you're a kid, they're like, oh, you got to eat your vegetables. You got to eat your vegetables. And then at one point, there's like a magic age number when it's just like, it's okay to be obsessed with eating steak.
I would say it's
And
probably
so-
around college for guys.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like once you probably middle high school into college. Like there's this like you need to be good at sports thing.
Yeah.
And the best way to be good at sports is to lift weights and get strong. Like, and I would say that I was on. So I graduated high school, and this is going to date me tremendously, but I graduated high school in '99, right? And when I graduated, so I started high school in '95, 596, I guess. Right, it was my freshman. Yeah, that sounds about right.
95.
So I remember lifting weights was not. It was a thing that we did in addition to play basketball.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't a thing that was like, this is part of your workout going for basketball.
Yeah, I imagine like in basketball, it's much more about form and athleticism rather than just like sheer raw
Well, sure,
muscle mass.
but if you look at kids now who play, they are
Yeah.
straight up jacked, and it's because they spend so much time working out. And the argument was always, you'd be a much better basketball player if you were stronger. But the counter of that is, you'd be a much better basketball player if you played basketball more. You know,
There's
instead
a
of working
balance
out.
with physical arts, whether they be sports, martial arts.
Yeah.
Where, like you could be the greatest martial artist in the world, but if you don't have any strength, then a little kid could come and kick you in the shin and you'd be done.
Yeah.
yeah,
But I feel like just from a vegan standpoint of like, so talk to me how, like, what your diet looks like, because that's the thing that is like most intriguing to me is like, what are you eating to get the amount of protein you need to not just sustain your weight but grow and put on 17 pounds in how many months?
It's hard to say. So when I got back from Ireland in April, the next month I started I found the key.
So it's been about a year.
Yeah, it's been about a year. But I got to like 160, maybe November, and just because of schedules and stuff, I hadn't been able to really focus in on keeping my diet at 4,000
So you put on 17 pounds in about 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at first that started out with I would eat 8 servings of spaghetti and Chipotle, and I would just try to cram 4,000 calories in. I've modified.
It's like a day?
Yeah,
You
4,000
just eat a bunch
day.
of spaghetti?
That was how I started.
Like what kind of spaghetti? Like spaghetti and meat sauce? Or spaghetti and red sauce?
Yeah, just spaghetti and red sauce, because there's 200 calories in one serving. And then the way I would order my Chipotle was I would get that to be around 2,000 calories. That's how I started, just to kind of get calories in me. And I knew it wasn't I knew I wasn't really focusing too much on the macros and the proportions.
because John, you got a really good metabolism. You
You
process.
I've always been. I'm definitely a hard gainer. It's hard for me to put on weight.
Yeah.
I've like I put in my Instagram post, from ages 14 to 25, I fluctuated between 135 and 145 at most.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's how I started with my 4,000 calorie diet, which is a lot of that food. And what I do now is, because a lot of bodybuilders will eat 6 meals a day to get their 4,000 to 5,000 calories.
Yeah, The Rock is eating just 10 tubs of fish and rice.
Yeah, but I've managed.
You got to tell me these things.
Hey,
Tell me that it was on bowling the entire time.
It was. I didn't want to interrupt.
Why would you not tell me that?
I don't know.
You want to make sure everybody can see it. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I don't have a preview monitor anymore.
You're good.
Anyways, I've gotten it down to 3 meals and it not being difficult. So my breakfast is one of my bean shakes, which I've talked about before.
Yeah.
With a bowl of oatmeal, and then my second meal is just another bean shake, and my third meal is tempeh stir fry. And it's the same thing every day, but it's delicious. And it's
Once John finds a groove, he sticks in it. He's really habitual.
Well, see, that's
Yeah.
the thing about me as well. Is when I was working out and I was going hard and trying to put on weight and lean up at the same time, which is impossible. I was the exact. It was chicken, rice, green beans. And the only variant was maybe corn or another vegetable in place of green beans, right? And it was that way every single day, and I could eat it 2-3 times a day. And at night I'd have I go to the Chinese place up the street and I get the same thing every single time. It's good. I know what I want. I don't need anything else, right? So it's kind of the same idea. I feel like that's super super important. The consistency of eating the same thing every single time is important.
It makes meal preparation a lot easier too, because I used to for a while there I was doing full on meal prep where I would cook everything completely ahead of time and then just microwave it the days after. Now I kind of do a semi thing where I chop all the vegetables and tempeh and stuff and I pre-make the sauce, so I just have to essentially just cook it. There's no prep time. It's just I put it in the pan and then add the sauce and I'm good. So it saves time still. But yeah, I'm not, I don't know, I get, my proportions are basically 55% carbohydrates, around 25-28% protein, and then the rest is like 17-15% fat, which is typical like bodybuilding range.
Yeah.
Chase, your thoughts.
It's good.
All right, nailed it.
But
You're
yeah,
good.
like
You're here, Chase.
I
You're getting
am.
to know us.
yeah, just combined with like kung fu and weightlifting, and eating. I'm technically eating like 4,200 calories a day, roughly.
God,
Yeah, that's a lot.
how are you not like eating right now?
Because I managed because like when I first got onto it, it was either I had these 2 giant meals, and then I switched to like 5 to 6 meals a day. But now I've gotten it. The shakes help a lot because the shakes are each 1,000 calories. I got my oatmeal to 1,000 calories, and then my stir fries 1,000 calories. So I
like
just have
4
it's just like
solid
breakfast, lunch,
meals.
and dinner, and so it's and I don't feel too full either.
Uh-huh.
I feel like, at least for me, it's revolutionary to me at least because it's not like, oh, I gotta fucking eat in like another hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could do it every hour. It's like every 3 hours I have a meal and like, cool, I'm good.
Yeah, see, like a year and a half ago, I had a nutritionist, and I followed that
Yeah.
to a T as well, because I used to be a fat kid. I was large, and I bulked up a bit, but they had me eating 5,000 calories a day, and like they gave me a meal plan of what to eat every day. Like in the morning, I would sit down and I would eat 12 eggs,
Wow.
and then I would have like 2 bananas before lunch, and then my lunch would be huge, and then I'd have like almonds and more fruit and stuff, and like a big cup of rice, and for dinner, I remember I would have like this huge piece of chicken. I would have about 3 cups of rice and so many sweet potatoes. Like
Yeah.
like a dinner-sized bowl full of
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sweet potato. And I was dying every day. I could never finish my food.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by. Have you guys heard about the people who go in and they build out your diet based off your DNA? Have you heard about this?
I've recently seen ads about this.
Yeah, this is a pretty new thing. I'd say in the last year,
Interesting.
where they go and take a sample of your DNA and they're able to see what genes you have, and by those genes be able to see what you respond best to, and say,
Yeah.
okay, you should be eating this, you should not be eating this, and apparently it does pretty good for as far as weight loss. I don't know what it does for weight gain. I would imagine it has the same results for
Yeah,
weight
yeah.
gain. So
We gotta reach out to bodybuilding.com. They had that.
oh yeah, we were gonna do stuff with them.
Yeah. And like I'm already using their app software with me.
You
and
should
Grayson
just
and
be
stuff.
recording what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was just intrigued by it. I'm sure other G1s were too. The fact that you put on 18
No,
pounds.
of course.
on-
Yeah. Because like I get, on a vegan diet with 0 supplements. I don't do any protein powder. Like the only supplement I take is like a B vitamin, which non-vegan should be taken too because it's so rare these days in food. Well, it's all like artificial B12 injected into everything. Anyways, like that's the one supplement I take. It's just one B vitamin. I don't take any protein supplements. I don't take any like creatine. Any,
Yeah. Whey
nothing like that.
protein, of course.
Man, I remember taking creatine like in college or whatever, and I just remember they're like it just absorbs water, and like what the like. I remember the taste. I remember it being like, ugh,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
horrific.
Uh-huh.
And like creatine essentially just absorbs the water in your system, and
Interesting.
I don't know. It's
That's weird.
I don't remember. I just remember it tasting like shit.
But yeah, there's been like the past several decades, there's been like a huge obsession with protein, and like protein, your body needs protein, but like you don't need to be that focused on it. Like if you're not trying to build muscle, if you're just trying to maintain your weight, then like it's impossible to be protein deficient unless you purposely starve yourself.
Yeah.
There's enough protein in everything you eat, obviously on a vegan diet too, that if you just ate, a bunch of apples or a bunch of, bananas or just had a regular amount of food of just vegetables, you're going to get the amount of protein the human body needs.
Yeah.
The only time you need to worry about protein is if you're trying to build muscle.
Yeah,
And I
like
get
the-
like 180 to 200 grams of protein a day.
Yeah, that's been like the big shift is like protein is so important.
Yeah,
Like you're-
carbohydrates are more important because they are going to use that protein to build your muscle.
Yeah.
Was it Teller from Penn and Teller,
I don't know.
who I believe
He lost a ton of weight.
he lost all his weight by eating potatoes.
Yeah.
Like potatoes are seen as like the last
Because they're so starchy.
the last
yeah.
thing you want to eat.
Yeah.
And,
Too many
and
potatoes. Is,
yeah, he lost like 60 pounds just by eating potatoes and different varieties of
Yeah.
potatoes.
It's a
Yeah.
root from the earth.
But our
Like,
brains run on starches. We
Yeah.
need starches.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just weird. Like I think yeah, because I was like straight up vegan. I went back to just vegetarian. I avoid dairy when I can, but like it's just I'm just like I'm not I can't not eat stuff. It's so limiting to be absolutely perfect as far as like butter and stuff. Like it's limiting, and I don't have time like to prepare that much. But like as soon as I started eating like basically just cheese, and if there's butter like as an ingredient or something, like I immediately gained like 7 pounds back, like in like a couple of weeks. But just like, you know,
You're lifting so hard.
I was straight vegan for like 2.5 years, and like I can see it on paper. I have paper that's like your protein levels are great, because like you only need like the average guy, I think it's anywhere from 50 to 60 grams a day of protein.
Yeah.
And like even if you don't do that, it's not like your body shrivels up or anything.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't know. I would be interested to learn if any of you guys have done the DNA diet thing, if you, if in, obviously I think most men in general, most American men in general, are pretty conscious of their weight. I think most Americans as a whole, women and men, are conscious of their weight. But I'd be interested whether 94% or 6% men or women. If you guys are intrigued by, or if you guys have done anything like that before in the past, the DNA testing, and if you have, let us know in the comments kind of what you've had and such. We've had this conversation about the testosterone treatment in the past, and I mentioned how hesitant I was to do that. And we had a G1 who was super passionate in the comments about how you're an idiot if you think it's gonna hurt you or whatever, but.
Yeah, I think like it's weird. The diet thing now has turned, especially like, I've definitely had experiences with vegans that are like, man, you're a fucking asshole. Like just do you. Like it's okay. You can just share information, but just you don't have
like
to
the stereotypical pretentious fucking vegan asshole.
It's like you don't have to be like that. Like you can just share information and hope that people listen and see results. But like. Even on the other side with, meat eaters and stuff, it's just like, I say that as in the simplest way that I can, just people who eat meat eaters. It's like, it's almost religious. It's almost like a religion, how impassioned people get about what other people are eating and how they're going to hurt themselves.
I would say it's passionate for people who have chosen that lifestyle, right? I would say if you are vegan or if you're vegetarian, and you're really into it, I mean, obviously, if you're really into it, it's passion. You're super passionate about it. But I think it's one of those things where then certain people feel it's their job to inform you, about it, and I think that's the biggest pain in the ass. Like, oh, do you know what you're eating right now?
Yeah, do you know what you're doing to yourself?
And that's the thing that nobody wants to hear.
Yeah,
So,
on either side.
I would think that most people know that the American way of making and manufacturing food is a really, really bad way of doing it. Right?
The worldwide way of doing it.
Yeah.
Not alone to America.
Sure. But
except for Homeboy, who's growing his own rice and
exactly. But
it's like farming his own chickens and stuff.
I think most people just have the attitude of like, whoa.
Oh, get down!
Oh. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do about that?
I think that's kind of their attitude, though. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like this is the options that we have, and there's direct link to disease and food and stuff, but whatever. Like I think that's the most fascinating thing about it. But I don't know. So thank you for sharing, John.
Of course, anytime.
I appreciate learning about your bean shakes.
They are delicious.
I need to get into them. So
I added peanut butter and cinnamon to up the calories.
Nice. They're beans.
They taste like snickerdoodles now.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Bolin, did you have any other topics you want to talk about this week?
Man, I did, but I don't know. I feel like that's a solid show already. I do have an interesting topic that I thought would be really good for a thumbnail and title and get eyes on the show.
Oh yeah, I was gonna lean on the shitty journalism thing, but
okay, that's no. Then I'll save it for next week.
Okay, can it last?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. It's super evergreen.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. How long have we been doing this?
Only like 45 minutes.
Golly. What else do you have to talk about?
No, I was going to lean on you. That's good. Well, let's wrap it up there. That's good. I mean, we don't have to go an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
I think that was a fun show. I want to know, like, do you guys like these shows? Because I know it's like fun to come in and be like wacky and crazy and silly and talk about stupid shit. But there are things that like Game Attack is about us and you guys and getting together. And I want to be able to talk about these things. And sometimes, you like this stuff. Sometimes you don't. But we just wanted to add that variety there for you guys.
That's a good show.
Yeah, it was interesting. Good job, Chase. You really nailed it.
Yep, I did that.